Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Monday, June 20th, and we have so much information with regard to cruising that we've got to go through. So pull up a chair. If you are driving home, just set the phone on the seat and listen, and grab a glass of whatever it is that you like to drink when you relax and just have a minute, and we'll go through this together. So first of all, I would like to welcome all of our Let's Go family members. It is really wonderful to have you with us. Welcome also to everyone who is new. We are really glad that you came across our channel. If anyone hasn't subscribed yet, we would really appreciate it if you would please subscribe, and I think you are going to really enjoy being here as well. You're going to gain so much information from not only me, but from our whole Let's Go family, and so this is the place to be on YouTube. So first of all, I want to remind everyone that every Monday night we always have our live. It's always at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we answer questions, we talk about going on cruises, traveling. We're going to talk a little bit tonight what's going on with flights, because that does affect cruising as well. So come and join us, and we'd love to have you with us. So the first thing that I do want to talk to you about today is starting off with flights. So right now, as you know, today is Monday, June 20th, and over the weekend, lots of flights were canceled again. And every article that I read, as I have tried to research this to talk to you about it, really indicates that the changes that we are seeing right now, it used to be that flights were canceled just only for weather. It was much more rare to have flights canceled for other reasons or maybe technical problems. But now we are seeing so many flights canceled because they are short on crew. So I wanted to not only mention this from the standpoint that you need to just be aware that your flight might be canceled, you might have to be rerouted, look at something like that. But I had a comment from someone over the weekend, and I can't remember if it was a comment or an email, but she was sharing what a miserable trip that she had home after a cruise, and flights were canceled, and then they finally got on a flight, and then they had to sit, when they arrived at the destination, they had to sit on the runway for hours, like 3 hours, waiting for a gate to be open for them to pull up and disembark. At that point, they had to get a new flight that would be their connecting flight, because they had missed their connection due to sitting on the runway, and she was saying how hard it was on her physically. And so I wanted just to remind all of us that when we go on flights right now, when you go to the airport, take with you what you need. Make sure you've got medicine for the next little while. You never should put your prescription medicine into your checked bag. I think we all know that, but keep in mind that if there's anything over the counter you need, as well as prescriptions, have some of that in your carry-on. I also had the thought that once you get through security, fill up your water bottle, make sure you've got water with you, make sure that if there is something that you need to have, you've got it. Some people mention that they just love to have coffee. Get one of those bottles, the kind they have now that keeps things hot and cold, whatever it is you want. Get one of those and fill one up with coffee. Do whatever you need to get. Have snacks with you, not just candy, but also something with, a little protein, something good for you if you end up being very delayed. I know that when Gordon and I were our flight was canceled, we were 7 hours late leaving JFK to head to Rome. All of the restaurants there in the airport closed early. So Delta gave us vouchers, and I had noticed that some places were closing. So I said to Gordon, let's go grab food right now. And so we did, but we were some of the last people to get something from the restaurant that was closing, and the more fast food places had already closed. And so that was maybe 9:30, and so keep in mind that even if you're delayed somewhere, you're not going to always be able to buy food in the airport. So I just wanted to make sure that you're all thinking about that, because it seems to happen so much more frequently, and this is on my mind as we prepared to fly to Vancouver on Friday night. I am really hoping that our flight doesn't get canceled, of course, but you never know what lies ahead. So I just wanted to bring you all up to date with that. So the next thing is just a little a reminder here, our Let's Go family member, Kelly, she asked a question in the comments, and I thought that going over it's a question we all have. So she was wondering if there are any other cruise lines that accept what our loyalty level is with Princess. And so I wasn't aware there was, but our Let's Go family Magic Cat T said that yes, MSC has a loyalty status. They do this little math with what your loyalty is on another cruise line and figure out what they are going to give you on their cruise line. And so I thought that might be really valuable for anybody who is considering sailing on MSC, so that you'll know that you won't start maybe at the very lower level there with MSC. And if any of you know of any other cruise lines that accept loyalty for another cruise line in some way, will you please add that in the comments, because that will help all of us. I know that I've been telling you I've been on 13 cruises with Princess, but I've been looking at my account lately because we're having trouble with our future cruise credits. We keep trying to talk to them to get it straightened out. But anyway, 14 cruises. So Princess Easy Air worked right for 13 cruises. I just wanted to let you know, so all is not lost. But so anyway, starting all over with Holland America, I'm just interested to see what will change, or what I was enjoying that I didn't really realize I was enjoying quite so much. I'm actually not worried about it, but status can affect your experience a little bit. The next thing that I want to make sure that everybody knows about is our Let's Go family member, Amy, sent a message, and she said she recommends on Amazon Prime there is a series called The Mighty Cruise Ships, and in season 3 is the Koningsdam ship. And so she was 11, sent that to me, and we did watch it. We watched it yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed it. I think each one is maybe like an hour long, somewhere around there, but it shows you all of these ships. And then we watched a couple of others, like we saw a Viking riverboat, and they've got one on the Regal Princess. And so anyway, you all might want to look it up. It is really amazing. They really show you the ships and the experience on them. And so I thought you might like to know about it. And thank you again, Amy, for letting us know. Then finally, I'm going to tell you some updates, and we've got a lot to talk about with updates. So first of all, our Let's Go family member is on the Sky Princess right now on a Norwegian cruise, and they said everything is going smoothly, everything is wonderful. They also said that they highly recommend a private tour company called the Arctic Service. The Arctic Guide Service, and they said that their excursions cost about 75% as much as a Princess excursion does, and you see lots more. And so I just wanted to pass that along to everyone. I have put that in my notes for when we get to go to Norway again, so that we look them up and hopefully get to use someone that y'all recommend so highly. So I thought that was very valuable for all of us. Now we're going to talk about the Crown Princess, and I would really like to hear everybody's take on this. The other day I mentioned that we had several people on the Crown Princess, and that I was hearing really two ends of the spectrum. Some people were saying it was our first cruise, we had an amazing time. Some people are, I think, maybe not going to cruise on Princess again because of their experience on the Crown Princess. And so I had referred you all to a comment, and a few of you asked me about that comment because you couldn't find it. So I reposted it under one of them, and I got some emails, so I'm just going to tell you all about it. First of all, I felt like I should start with, though, we have got a Let's Go family member who is on the Crown Princess right now, and they said, I am loving my cruise this evening. They've seen 3 whales and a pod of porpoises today. The staff is awesome and are taking care of any challenges immediately. The ArriveCan app is easy to complete, and she said that she is not finding the vibration distracting. It's easy to identify in the aft areas, but it is not horrible. So that is our most recent update of someone cruising on the Crown Princess right now. You will recall last week I heard from 2 other people, and one of them was a first-time cruiser. Phenomenal time. And so then we have another Let's Go family member who just got off the Crown Princess, so they were on the last sailing, and they said yes, there is a lot of noise and vibration in the aft from the engines, but it didn't bother them. The ship made good time and got to Juneau at 4 instead of at 5:30 and to Victoria at 6 instead of 7, so that there was a little bit of extra time in those ports, and they didn't have any trouble with toilets on the Crown Princess. So that was last week. But you know what, I am starting really to wonder, all of you, I'm really starting to wonder if it really depends on your cabin and where you are located on the ship. So the comment that I had referred to the other day is from our Let's Go family member Cody, and they were on May 21st. And so I am going to give the grace that maybe things have gotten better since then, because I just told you what we are hearing from people cruising right now. At the same time, I feel like I should let you all know exactly what they said. So they missed 2 of their ports. 2 of the dining room were closed, and several of the hot tubs were out of order. The front third of the ship was out of cold water, including the spa. No air conditioning or forced air movement on deck 9. The toilets were continuously overflowing on every deck that they visited, with the constant smell of sewage, and this wasn't because of passengers that they were overflowing. Deck 6 through 8 and aft had a tremendous loud rattling sound, and there were significant staffing shortages. I think we're really used to staffing shortages everywhere. They, like they said, they had itinerary changes due to the what they had been notified of before everyone went on the cruise, and then itinerary changes along the way. And so they are, I don't think that they are going to sail with Princess again. It didn't sound like, or at least not for a long time. The other thing that was really interesting is they were saying that on day 5 of the cruise, this man, they woke up with a sore throat, so they called the medical center to report it and ask about a COVID test. He was told that unless they had a fever over 100 degrees, then they wouldn't be tested. They explained they didn't travel with a thermometer, so they didn't know what their temperature was, so their call was sent to wait at the medical office. They were called back and said that they did not have symptoms that warranted them to be tested. And so, needless to say, when they got home, they tested positive for COVID. Now, we have another one. These people were just on the Crown Princess as well. They say, I love Princess and have traveled with them many times. Now we're on the Caribbean Princess. I apologize. And so after I tell you about the Caribbean Princess, we'll discuss a little bit what you guys think, because I want to know and I want to hear about it in the comments. So this is Elaine and Stuart. They were just on the Caribbean Princess, and they found it to be the worst cruise they'd ever taken. Their toilet did not flush and had not flushed from the previous guest, which was awful. There was a bad smell in part of the ship. The food they didn't care for unless they were eating in the main dining room, and the laundry service even ruined one of their new expensive shirts, and they didn't think that the entertainment was that great, so she said they're not going to ever sail on that ship again. So I've also had a Let's Go family member, Mark, who was giving up on Princess for a while at least because of their cruise on the Caribbean Princess. And so here's my whole discussion with you all. I have a few things to say, and I would really like to know what you think too. First of all, I don't know what's going on. These people just got off the Caribbean Princess. I've had others of you who went and had a magnificent cruise recently on the Caribbean Princess. So I am really thinking it depends on where your cabin is. And I honestly can't believe, I think it's terrible that Princess would assign someone to a stateroom that the toilet's not working. Like what? If you cannot accommodate people in the number of staterooms that you've got that you know your toilets work, you know what, call them and tell them not to come. They'll have to come another time. That's just me. And so here's my advice. If you're booked on the Caribbean Princess, go straight to your stateroom as soon as you can. And this sounds silly, but make sure that your toilet flushes well. And if it doesn't, get down there to guest services and tell them, don't you like me being bossy, let them know that you need another stateroom. And if it was me and they would not assign me another stateroom, I'd say, fine, I'm leaving before we sail. And so that sounds a little drastic, but I am really amazed that that's what they're doing here on these ships. And so I would like all of your input. I would really like to hear from more people that are on both of these ships right now. I think it would be really helpful that if someone is in a cabin and the toilet's not working, like, tell us all so that we all know to hurry up and switch cabins from there. And other than that, I don't really know what to do. I apologize. Like I've told you before, I don't work for Princess. Princess doesn't even know who I am, but I am really sorry. With with you because I think that's terrible. And I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on these ships. I feel that's part of what I do here, and then you can decide what you're going to do about that situation. And then let's see. We also have an update from the Discovery Princess, and this is really interesting. So Michelle, they bought the package that they flew into Seattle, and they bought the Princess transfer that included a Princess hotel. So the way that works is when you land there in Seattle or anywhere that you buy that package, what happens is you go to baggage claim, and the Princess rep is taking care, they're waiting there for you, and they take care of you. They get you on a transfer over to your hotel, and then the next morning they take you from the hotel to the port. And the hotels the Princess chooses to work with are supposed to be awesome. So anyway, they get there in Seattle. They look at baggage claim, cannot find the Princess rep anywhere. They wandered around, she said, between an hour and 2 hours trying to find where the Princess rep was. Finally, they gave up on it and called the hotel. It was a DoubleTree there by the airport, and they found out where to get the shuttle, went and got the shuttle to the hotel, and then she says, I'm not exaggerating, it was a half-mile walk from the lobby to their room, a whole half mile. And bless her, she was like, I hope this is not foretelling of our cruise. So she was so kind to send me a follow-up email. She said, despite the bumpy start, that they got on the ship just fine yesterday, and she said it's gorgeous. It appears to be fully booked with lots of children on board. She says Alaska is a great place for kids to learn. She said she spoke with the Princess Loyalty rep about last night, so when she got on the ship she did that, and the rep communicated with the head of guest services on board and told her to watch for a credit. It's not as much as she had wanted, but at least they found out that they left passengers stranded at SeaTac. And you know what really worries me about them leaving people stranded at SeaTac is sometimes people travel that need a hand, and they're perfectly fine to travel if someone is there doing their job, but if nobody's there, it worries me a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that you all know about that. And then she said there was an enormous line to check in at the port, but the process went smoothly. People who did not download the Medallion app or ArriveCan had a much longer process. She said from when they got there, when the bus arrived at the port till when they were on the ship was about 45 minutes. And so I am really excited to hear how everything goes, but I just wanted to make you aware of that situation. So if you arrive at an airport anywhere and can't find the Princess rep, make sure that you have in your information the hotel you're going to stay at and the phone number, because I think it's easier to find the phone number for some hotels a little easier than others depending on where you are. And so just make sure you've got that phone number with you. We've got another Let's Go family member, and now we're going to talk about the Island Princess. So she was just on the Island Princess, let's see, May 26th through June 13th, and bless her, she said, I know that it was one of the few sailings that were early since that ship started again, and she tried to keep it in mind. She said chaos with the dining reservations, as we have heard on several ships, was just what did I say? So yeah, the dining reservation system was chaos. She said you could have a reservation for one time and you'd go and just wait in a long line and have to wait to be seated. She said that by the time you did get your food, though, that it was very good. So that made me happy. And she said that on the 8th day of their cruise is when they announced, we have heard that the Island Princess had a sailing, that people were asked to wear their masks. And indeed, about day 8 is when they asked them to do that. And she said they came to learn that if a small table from the cabin was located in front of a stateroom door and you received a room service for all your meals and deposited your trash and linen there, that the people in that cabin had COVID. She said that there were 300 cases on the ship, about 30 crew and 270 passengers. I have no idea how she knows that. So if you're there, Petty, tell us how you found that out. People are always asking me how many cases of COVID are on the ship, and nobody ever tells that. Really, the only clue you have is if you look at the CDC's chart, then they update the color of the ship if there are too many cases, and likely we've not seen a ship in red. So I think that's awesome. But that's what's going on with that. And then she said that the entertainment on board, the part that was performed by princess dancers and singers were really good, but she didn't really care for the other entertainment that was brought on board. In my experience, just in the past and even before COVID, I will say sometimes I love the other entertainers and sometimes it's just okay. So that's probably about the same as it was before COVID. Their final thoughts are, will they sail again? Probably not for a while. And so that was their take on the Island Princess. Someone else is on the Island Princess right now on their way, and they say that things are going really well this far. And so I'm really excited to see if things are shaping up better on this next voyage. So I would love to hear from any of you on the Island Princess to let us know. The last thing is... well, it's not quite last. Now we have an update from the Grand Princess, and lots of people ask me what I hear about the Grand Princess, and to be truthful, I don't hear anything bad about the Grand Princess. Everyone that says they were recently on the Grand seems to be doing really well. Honestly, the only ship that we are hearing anything that is less than fabulous in Alaska right now is the Crown Princess. So just wanted to let you know. And you know what? The Crown Princess also is going to go in dry dock the beginning of October. So keep that in mind if you've got a sailing after that. Okay. Finally, this lady, she was just letting us know, and she's going to send us another update. So they were just on the Grand Princess and ended up coming home with COVID. And so I just wanted to open a little discussion here. Based on what she said, she's like, bottom line is if you're afraid of getting COVID on the ship, maybe rethink cruising for the time being. And this kind of goes along with my cruise or not to cruise conversation that we often have here. But I just wanted to remind everyone that if you go on a cruise, yeah, it's highly likely you're going to get COVID. It's also highly likely you're going to get COVID if you go to a concert or if you ride on an airplane. Yesterday we went to church, of course, and not everyone that is sniffling or coughing has COVID. I don't mean that at all, because they don't, honestly. But at the same time, I've just heard more people coughing and sneezing at church and at the grocery store and anywhere than I ever have in another June. And so I think that there's just a lot of everything going around. So if you're someone that just stays home and you don't really go anywhere and you really don't want to catch COVID, maybe it is a good time to stay home. If you're someone that is at home and you're still going everywhere, living your life normal, I think you have about the same chance to catch COVID somewhere else as you do on a cruise ship. So I just wanted to hear what you guys think about that as well. Finally, we've just got a couple of things here from Holland America, so I'm really excited to tell you all about that. So we've got someone that just got off of Holland America yesterday. Bless them, they didn't say which ship it was. And June 18th. Sorry, yesterday was the 19th. So they just got off on Saturday. Masks are required in Victoria, Canada, just by them. Other than that, they are just only recommended when you're on the ship. They said they easily got a cabin upgrade. The food was very good and the service was excellent. The main dining room was less popular than other cruises we've been on, with most seeming to choose the Lido Market dining. Ports were not nearly as crowded as previous cruises either, which was really nice. So I will let you know how ours compares to that next week. I think it'll be really interesting to see how many people are in every port and just how everything is. So I'm excited about that. Finally, we also have heard from Andrea, and she and her husband are on the Rotterdam. They've just left Amsterdam and are heading up to Norway. And so 2 things on that. Take a look at our website, just letsgotraveltips.com, because she was so kind to send the schedule of events. And so Gordon put them up this morning. And so take a look. And I think it's really fun, because I think it's fun to compare like the Princess Patter, that schedule of events, with Holland of America. Some of the activities are really similar, but there is some differences, and I think it's kind of fun. And so take a look at that if you want to. She said that the Rotterdam is absolutely beautiful, that the embarkation was very smooth, very well organized. It didn't take very long. They got on the ship earlier than their assigned boarding time, and she said they were very impressed with the ship and everything all around. They have a modern and spacious cabin in the aft, and the internet so far is working really well, and the service and food quality are on a high level. They enjoyed the atmosphere on the music walk with the different stages. I'm so excited about that. And so everything everything else seems to be going well. She said they did have a medical evacuation last night from the ship, and that the Dutch Coast Guard just came in and just lifted the person right up, and off they went to get them the help they needed. So I wanted to make sure. So take a look at that on our website. I think it's really fun. And then let's see. You know what? I'm going to talk about Rome tonight. No, I'll talk about it here. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk to you all about really quick here is that I keep on getting in comments and emails questions about where to get tested in Rome and Athens and other places like that. So, and what I think is the best. So based on our experience, I think that the easiest is to order your tests from eMed or Optum and do them that way. You just do it with a video call. You can do it with the Wi-Fi in your hotel, or you can do it with the Wi-Fi in your phone, just using data. And so if you try to do it, and the Wi-Fi is not fast enough, the program's not going to work. So then try doing it with your phone. Be aware of that. The other thing is that, number one, lots of hotels, I have heard from so many people that where they stayed anywhere in Europe, their hotel can tell them where to go to get a COVID test. Some of the hotels even do a COVID test for you. So that is an excellent resource. Also, over both in Athens and Rome, as we walked around, there are lots of pharmacies. They have lots of pharmacies, and they all have these, just signs usually taped out there that they do COVID testing. They've got COVID testing in a tent over by Termini, and you'll come upon sometimes you'll be walking down a little side street in Rome, and there will be a white tent. They do COVID testing there. There are lots of places to get COVID tested, so don't let that worry you. If none of those work, all of Princess is doing it at the port, so you don't have to worry about that. When we took the Princess shuttle, I tried to look out the window and see if there were any COVID testing places. I wasn't able to see any. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that I couldn't see it when we were going by. We just came down and turned and went right over to where the ship was, and so I'm sorry that I'm not a better resource on that. I was looking, but I couldn't see a place right off. But they do testing at the port, so that's really important to know. And then lots of questions on how much the taxi costs from the airport, the Fiumicino airport, into like Termini, into the central area of Rome. It's about €40. And I wanted to let you know that they have little cars, and they have like minivans, and some that are kind of in between. But when you are just there at the airport, they have a taxi line. You just go get in line, and there's these gentlemen managing it when it's your turn. And literally, they look at you and what luggage you have, and then they pick between the next taxi, or if it's a teeny car and you need something bigger, or there's more people in your group, they get the minivan, and get you on that. And so if you are going like with your whole family, and you all have a suitcase, or you are going with, a group of friends, whatever, and you need more, they'll get you in a bigger taxi. And that kind of works like at the taxi stand over by Termini. They also have like different sizes of vehicles available. So don't worry about that. It'll go fine. And I don't think it matters how much luggage you have. They didn't seem to charge us based on that. And then when you go back, and it's a flat rate, the €40, you just pay it, and you go into like the central area of Rome is how they are doing it now. Okay. And then we added on some. We always tip the taxi driver, like always, even if we don't have suitcases, just because I think it's appropriate, but you do what you think is good. But I just wanted to make sure that you all know that that's about how much it costs. And then if you are going from the central area of Rome and you're going to go to the port, it's a flat rate of €125. It doesn't matter how many people are in your car. It's €125. Or if it's a minivan, it doesn't matter. It's a flat rate, and it's a flat rate back to the airport. So like next time we go, I like how I'm planning for next time already, but I think that we'll probably take a taxi just from the Termini area there out to the port, because it was $79 for each one of us for the transfer from the airport to the port. And so I just wanted so that would be like $160, and it was just €125. It's a little cheaper, not tons cheaper, but it is some cheaper depending on the exchange rate, but it's just easier. So that's probably what we'll end up doing next time. So I just wanted to put that out there for everyone. And I know that is a little bit expensive, and I know some people are awesome and take the train. It comes with the thing of do what you're most comfortable with. It would probably stress me. It would stress me out to take the train. And so I just save money on something else while I'm home so that I have taxi money or transfer money. But anyway, I hope that some of you find this helpful. I hope lots of you find this information here helpful. It's really hard for me to talk about what's going wrong on the cruise lines because I don't want to assume that nothing is getting better. But at the same time, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you what people are commenting. And so I want you to know that as we have sailed, we have had wonderful cruises. We've been 4 times now since the restart, and we are really grateful that everything has gone really smoothly. But I just wanted, and I hope that all of your cruises go very smoothly as well. It doesn't mean that I think that nothing is going to go right on your cruise or that Princess is never going to be good again. Absolutely not. They are sailing too many ships that are having everything go smoothly on them, and people are having amazing voyages. Even on the Crown Princess, so many people are reporting that things are going really well. So I really think the key is to pay attention to where your cabin is. If the noise in the aft would bug you, get something that is more forward. And definitely when you get on, make sure the toilet works. And that's the best I've got, and I hope that it helps some of you. If you appreciate these updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.